The words left Jace's mouth and hung in the air like smoke from a fire he couldn't put out. "I'm gay," he said, his voice steadier than he felt as he stood in front of his senior English class at Riverside High in the quiet suburbs of Northern California. For a split second, everything froze. Then the whispers started, low at first, then growing into a wave of snickers, eye rolls, and outright glares from the 25 other students. Someone in the back muttered, "Freak," loud enough for everyone to hear. Jace's heart hammered against his ribs. This was the moment he'd dreaded for years, the one he'd rehearsed in the mirror 100 times. But nothing prepared him for the way his classmates' faces twisted in disgust. His best friend since middle school, Mike, wouldn't even meet his eyes. The only person who didn't look away was Mrs. Reynolds, their teacher, sitting at her desk with a calm expression that didn't match the tension crackling through the room. Jace sat down slowly, feeling the weight of every stare on his back. He had come out to himself at 14, but saying it aloud in this conservative town felt like jumping off a cliff without a parachute. His conservative parents didn't know yet. Now the whole class did. What had he done? Mrs. Reynolds stood up, her heels clicking on the linoleum floor. The room quieted a bit. "Class," she said, her voice firm and clear. "That took courage. But what I'm seeing right now is disappointing. Very disappointing." She paused, scanning the faces. "Because of the intolerance I've witnessed today and in recent weeks, I've made a decision. Starting tomorrow, this class will undertake a mandatory semester-long project called Walking in Someone Else's Shoes. You'll be paired up randomly by me, and each pair will research, interview, and present on an aspect of identity, race, sexuality, religion, whatever makes you different from the person next to you. And to start us off," she looked directly at Jace, then across the room. "Jace, you're paired with Leonardo. Leonardo, you'll be helping Jace document the experience of coming out in today's society." The room erupted. Leonardo, the star soccer player and most popular guy in senior year, shot up from his chair. "What? No way!" Gasps and protests filled the air. Jace felt his stomach drop. Of all people, why him? Leonardo was everything Jace wasn't. Tall, athletic, always surrounded by friends who hung on his every word. Jace had noticed him in the halls for years, the easy smile and confident stride that made him seem untouchable. Now they were stuck together for months because of Jace's big mouth. The bell rang, and students bolted from their seats, but the damage was done. As Jace packed his bag, he heard the murmurs follow him out the door. "Why does he have to shove it in our faces?" one girl said loudly enough for him to catch. Another guy shoulder-checked him in the hallway. "Fag!" he hissed under his breath. By the time Jace reached his locker, the news had spread like wildfire through the senior class. His usual group from art club scattered when he approached. Mike finally stopped by, but his eyes darted everywhere except at Jace. "Dude, what the hell? You couldn't have told me first? Now everyone's looking at me like I knew or something." Jace swallowed hard. "I didn't plan it like that. It just came out." Mike shook his head. "Look, I don't care, okay? But the guys, they're not cool with it. Maybe lay low for a while." He walked away without another word. Jace slammed his locker shut, the metal echo ringing in his ears. Alone in the crowded hallway, he wondered how one sentence could erase years of friendships. Later that afternoon, Mrs. Reynolds caught him in the empty classroom after the final bell. "Jace, I know today was rough, but I believe in this project. It's not just for you. It's for all of them." She handed him a folder with guidelines. "Leonardo's a good kid under all that popularity. Give it a chance." Jace nodded, but doubt gnawed at him. As he walked home through the sunny streets lined with palm trees, his mind raced. His dad would flip when he found out. Mom might cry. And now Leonardo, the guy who once scored the winning goal in the state finals and had half the cheer squad chasing him. This project was going to be torture. The next morning, the bullying started in earnest. Notes in his locker. "Go back to the closet." A group of jocks laughed loudly when he entered the cafeteria. one of them pretending to swish his hips. Jace kept his head down, eating alone at the far table. Leonardo avoided him completely during lunch, sitting with his soccer crew as if nothing had changed. But after last period, Leonardo finally approached Jace outside the gym, his expression guarded. "Look man, this project sucks, but Mrs. Reynolds said it's non-negotiable. We meet at the library after practice tomorrow. Don't make it weird." Jace forced a nod, his chest tight. "Yeah, sure." As Leonardo jogged off to the field, Jace watched him go, wondering if the star athlete saw him as a burden or something worse. The school day ended, but the real storm was just beginning. Jace had no idea how one teacher's decision would upend everything he thought he knew about himself and the people around him. The library smelled like old books and stale coffee the next afternoon when Jace arrived early, clutching his notebook like a shield. He chose a table in the back corner, away from the windows where the soccer team sometimes studied. His hands were clammy. Leonardo showed up 15 minutes late, hair still damp from practice, his Letterman jacket slung over one shoulder. "Sorry," he muttered, dropping into the chair across from Jace. Coach ran long. They sat in awkward silence for a minute, the hum of fluorescent lights filling the space. Jace cleared his throat. "So, the project. Mrs. Reynolds wants us to interview each other about identity. I guess I start since it's my thing." Leonardo leaned back, arms crossed. "Yeah. Fire away." Jace asked the questions from the worksheet, his voice low. When had Leonardo first felt different? What pressures did he face as a star athlete? Leonardo answered in short bursts at first. Family expectations, the fear of letting his team down, but slowly he opened up. "My dad's all about being the man, you know? Strong, no weakness. Soccer's my ticket out of here." Jace listened, surprised by the vulnerability. For the first time, Leonardo didn't seem like the untouchable golden boy. When it was Leonardo's turn, he asked about Jace's coming out. "Why now? In class, of all places." Jace stared at the table. "I was tired of hiding. Tired of pretending every time someone asked about girls or dates. It felt like lying to everyone, including myself." Leonardo nodded slowly, something flickering in his eyes that Jace couldn't read. As weeks passed, the project meetings became routine, but the bullying outside them grew worse. Someone keyed "gay" into Jace's locker. His art portfolio went missing for a day, returned with crude drawings inside. At home, the tension built too. His father overheard a phone call from Mike and confronted him one night over dinner. "Is it true, son? You telling people you're that way?" The disappointment in his dad's voice cut deeper than any slur at school. Jace's mom stayed quiet, tears in her eyes. "We love you," she said softly, but the silence afterward spoke volumes. Jace retreated to his room, staring at the ceiling, wondering if coming out had cost him his family too. Leonardo noticed the change during their next meeting. "You okay? You look like you haven't slept." Jace shrugged it off at first, but the words spilled out anyway. The locker, the notes, his dad's reaction. Leonardo listened without interrupting, then surprised him. "That sucks, man. My uncle's gay. Family doesn't talk about it much, but he's happy now. Took him years." For a moment, the popular athlete seemed almost human, almost an ally. They worked on the presentation outline late into the evening, and when they parted ways outside the library, Leonardo clapped Jace on the shoulder. "Hang in there." It was the first kind touch Jace had felt in weeks. But not everyone approved of their growing partnership. Mike cornered Jace in the parking lot one afternoon. "You're dragging Leonardo into your drama? He's got scouts watching him. Don't ruin that." Jace defended himself, but the seed of doubt was planted. Was he hurting Leonardo by association? The project forced them closer, yet the world around them pushed harder. Jace lay awake that night replaying their conversations. The way Leonardo's laugh had started to feel like a lifeline. He didn't know it yet, but cracks were forming in Leonardo's perfect facade too. Mrs. Reynolds watched from afar, her decision already rippling through the school as rumors spread about the gay project, forcing students to talk about things no one wanted to face. The hallways buzzed with complaints, and parents began calling the office. Riverside High had never felt so divided. Mid-semester brought the first presentations, and Jace and Leonardo stood at the front of the classroom together. Jace's hands shook as he clicked through their slides, interviews, research on LGBT history in America, personal reflections. Leonardo spoke with surprising ease about the pressure athletes face to conform. "It's not just Jace's story," he said firmly. "It's about all of us hiding parts of ourselves." The class listened in stunned silence. A few nods appeared, but most faces remained stony. Mrs. Reynolds smiled faintly from her desk. "Excellent work, gentlemen. This is exactly what I hoped for." After class, a small group of students lingered to ask questions. One girl from the drama club admitted her brother was gay and she'd never known how to support him. Jace felt a spark of hope for the first time. Their private meetings deepened. At a coffee shop near campus one weekend, Leonardo confessed over lattes. "I used to think being different was weakness. But talking to you, it makes me question a lot." Jace shared stories of his childhood crushes, the fear of being found out. Laughter came easier now, and when their fingers brushed reaching for the same napkin, neither pulled away quickly. Jace's heart raced in a way that had nothing to do with fear. Back at school, the bullying eased slightly for him, but new tension arose for Leonardo. His soccer buddies started teasing him about spending too much time with the gay kid. One practice, the captain pulled him aside. "People are talking, Leo. Don't let it mess with your game." Leonardo brushed it off, but Jace saw the strain in his eyes during their next session. Family pressure mounted too. Jace's dad stopped attending his soccer games. Wait. No, Jace didn't play, but family dinners became silent ordeals. His mother tried, asking gentle questions about the project, but the air was thick with unspoken disappointment. Leonardo invited Jace to watch a soccer match from the stands one Friday night. "Just as friends," he said with a grin. Sitting there under the bright lights, cheering as Leonardo scored, Jace realized how much he looked forward to these moments. After the game, they walked the quiet field together. "Thanks for coming," Leonardo said softly. "Means more than you know." In that moment, under the stadium lights, Jace felt the first real pull of something beyond friendship. Mrs. Reynolds noticed the shift. She pulled them aside after class one day. "You're both growing through this. Keep going." But outside the classroom, the school began to feel the effects of her decision. Other teachers complained about disrupted dynamics. The principal called a staff meeting about controversial curriculum. Parents circulated a petition. Yet Jace and Leonardo kept meeting, their conversations turning personal. Leonardo admitted late one night over text, "I've never told anyone this, but sometimes I wonder if I'm like you. Not sure. Just wondering." Jace stared at his phone for hours, heart pounding with possibility and terror. The project had started as punishment. Now it felt like the beginning of understanding. Tensions rose as misunderstandings brewed. A classmate spread a rumor that Leonardo was only helping Jace for extra credit. The divide in the senior class widened, forcing choices no one had anticipated. The rumor hit like a bomb. "Leonardo's just using Jace to boost his grades," someone posted anonymously on the school forum. Leonardo's soccer friends confronted him in the locker room. "Dude, back off the project. It's messing with your rep." Leonardo defended Jace fiercely, but the damage lingered. When they met next, the air was heavy. "I don't care what they say," Leonardo insisted, but his eyes betrayed doubt. Jace felt the old isolation return. "Maybe we should just do the bare minimum," he suggested quietly, hurt twisting in his chest. Leonardo shook his head. "No, this matters." Their argument spilled into the hallway, overheard by Mike, who later told Jace, "See, he's not worth it. Drop him before he drops you." The betrayal cut deep. Jace skipped their next meeting, burying himself in art class instead. Alone at his easel, he painted swirling colors of confusion and longing. Mrs. Reynolds noticed and pulled him aside. Running away won't fix anything. Leonardo asked about you today. Jace's resolve cracked. That evening, Leonardo showed up at Jace's house unannounced, rain soaking his jacket. We need to talk. On the porch, under the porch light, Leonardo admitted the pressure from his team and family. But I don't want to lose what we've built. Jace listened, tears mixing with rain. They hugged for the first time. A real, lingering embrace that said more than words. I'm sorry, Leonardo whispered. I won't let them come between us again. School chaos escalated. Parents protested Mrs. Reynolds' project at a board meeting, calling it indoctrination. The principal warned her privately, but she stood firm. These kids need this more than ever. News of the controversy spread through town, making Jace and Leonardo even more visible. Family dinners at Jace's house turned into arguments. His dad slammed doors. This teacher is ruining lives. Yet Jace's mom started reading articles online, quietly supportive. Leonardo faced his own storm. His father questioned his friendship choices after hearing rumors. Focus on soccer, son. Not distractions. Through it all, their bond strengthened in secret park walks after dark. One evening, under a canopy of stars, Leonardo took Jace's hand. I think I've been wondering about myself for a long time. Being with you makes it clearer. Jace's breath caught. No grand declarations, just quiet honesty that healed old wounds. Misunderstandings faded as they chose trust. The project deadline loomed, but so did real feelings. When a bully shoved Jace in the hall one day, Leonardo stepped in without hesitation. Back off. The school watched, divided. Mrs. Reynolds' decision had forced everyone to choose sides, and the consequences rippled far beyond the classroom. Jace felt himself changing, stronger, clearer about who he was and who he wanted beside him. The school board meeting packed the auditorium. Parents shouted about protecting traditional values, while a few students, including Jace, spoke in defense of the project. Leonardo sat in the back, fists clenched, then stood unexpectedly. This isn't about agendas. It's about people. Jace showed me what real courage looks like. Gasps echoed. His words shifted the tone slightly, but the board voted to review the curriculum anyway. Mrs. Reynolds faced suspension threats. Jace felt the weight of it all. His coming out had sparked this fire. At home, his dad gave him an ultimatum. Stop this nonsense or move out after graduation. Jace packed a bag that night, crashing on a friend's couch, questioning every choice. Leonardo found him the next day, pulling him into a quiet corner of the soccer field. You don't have to do this alone. Their conversation stretched for hours, revealing Leonardo's own secret struggles. I've liked guys before, never acted on it. But with you, it's different. They shared their first tentative kiss under the bleachers, soft, full of years of hidden longing. No fireworks, just relief and connection. Yet betrayal struck again when Mike leaked a photo of them talking closely to the group chat. Traitor, the messages read. Leonardo's team captain benched him for distractions. Jace blamed himself, offering to step back. I won't ruin your future. Leonardo refused. You're my future now. Internal crises peaked. Jace spiraled into doubt during a solo walk, replaying every hateful glance. Leonardo confronted his father in a raw argument that ended with slammed doors but also unexpected understanding. I just want you happy, son. Mrs. Reynolds, facing her own pressure, met them privately. You've both grown so much. Don't let them win. The class project presentations continued amid the drama, some students softening as they heard stories. One bully even apologized awkwardly after his own presentation on family prejudice. Tensions boiled, forcing Jace to decide. Transfer schools or fight? Leonardo chose to come out quietly to close friends, sacrificing popularity for truth. Their sacrifices deepened the bond, turning fear into quiet strength. The school chowed with debates in every hallway. Mrs. Reynolds' bold move exposing cracks in the community that could no longer be ignored. Jace and Leonardo stood together, ready for whatever came next. Graduation loomed under clear California skies, the controversy still simmering but shifting. Mrs. Reynolds kept her job after a petition from students swayed the board. The project became optional the next year, but its impact lingered. More open conversations. A new support group formed. Jace's dad attended the ceremony stiffly, but afterward pulled him aside. "I'm trying, son. Give me time." His mom hugged him tight, whispering pride. Leonardo's family showed up too, his father clapping him on the back with a nod of quiet acceptance. The two stood on the football field after, caps in hand, watching the sunset paint the hills gold. Their relationship had grown through every trial, misunderstandings forgiven, betrayals overcome, identities claimed. In the park where they'd first embraced months ago, Leonardo took Jace's hands. "We made it. Because of you. Because of her decision that changed everything." Jace smiled, the weight of the year lifting. They had both become stronger, more compassionate men, ready for college and whatever lay ahead. Friendships mended slowly. Even Mike reached out with an awkward apology. The school, once divided, carried seeds of change. Mrs. Reynolds watched from afar with a satisfied smile as the two young men walked off together. True or false? Sometimes the only way to change hearts is to force uncomfortable conversations in places like school.